Hi, this is episode 4, and today I have my guest Miguel. Miguel is actually from Brownsville, so he took the sweet time to come over here and just drive and have a great conversation. So, Miguel, please tell me about yourself, man.
What's happening? 21 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
21 years young, I like to say, because I still look like a kid.
Yeah, you're very young, dude, and like I see you, and you're still so full of energy.
Still rocking the small shirts, the 30 waist pants. You already know. Came all the way from Brownsville.
30. I remember when I was just a 29, 30 inch waist. Yeah.
Those are the days, right?
Yeah, I miss those. Now I'm like 32. I'm like, I don't want to, I don't want to be
it's
bigger
hard,
than that.
It's hard to accept, bro. You just tell yourself like, damn, maybe I can fit into that 28 still.
Yeah, dude, I still have some of my clothes from when I was like a fucking 18, 19-year-old. And I'm just like, this thing fits.
You're not going to believe it, because from the dorm, I stopped at my mom's house in Harlingen, and I sort of like picked out the clothes that I wanted to just get rid of because they just don't fit me no more. But my dumb ass tries to accept it. Like, I don't know. There's still hope.
Right.
There's still hope. But then she was like, nah, like, ¿qué chingados estás haciendo? Like, give me that. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, like, let it go.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to embrace like the person that you are and take the lessons from the person that you used to be. Right.
Yeah. You just move, not linearly, but you just move, you learn, you grow and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure I learned and growed, bro. Because back in the day, I was doing dumb shit. Like my choice of clothes, not that good.
Right. You were just saying how like you come from the projects, right?
Yeah, choice of politics, not that good. I mean, it doesn't make sense. He comes from the projects, but 15-year-old me was a fucking Republican. It's like, what the fuck? This shit makes no sense, bro.
Life hit you too fucking early, man.
I was telling my bro, like, hey, bro, what the fuck you know about Reagan, bro? This is the guy. This is my guy.
I love Reagan, by the way. He's great.
He was good, bro. I still fuck with him. I still look up to him and shit.
Yeah, but you take in the positive things
but then
he did.
Yeah, but then you just grow up and you're like, man, you know what I'm saying? You grow up and you see like the flaws and like a bunch of shit. I was just thinking about this on the way here because some music by R. Kelly started playing on my shuffle, and I was like,
R. Kelly.
And I was like, what the fuck, R. Kelly, man?
Right, you look at it from a different perspective.
And you know what I'm saying? Because like 2 years ago, I would have been like, oh, it's that fucking remix to Ignition, whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm just like, oh damn, it's kind of hard to listen to this shit.
Yeah,
I know it's not because anybody's telling me like, oh, you shouldn't be listening to it. Nobody's telling me that.
Right. It just feels kind of.
It just feels kind of it feels strange. Like I'm not supposed to be listening to this shit. It's kind of hard to, bro.
Yeah, like that song that played in the movie The Joker, like the Rock and Roll Part 2, right, where he's dancing on the stairs, like that. That's by Gary Glitter, like, which is like a convicted pedophile, right? And so shit. Yeah, but it's a good, well established song. It plays everywhere in stadiums. Holy and shit. Yeah. So
you blew my mind, bro.
You would have never known, right? So it was a little bit controversial how they established, that in the movie.
January, I was in a club with my friends and like they played that and we were just rocking out. We were just vibing to it because it was weird. They went from pop and then hip hop and then they went to that. Mm-hmm. And then I was just vibing out to it. I was like, hey, we just saw Joker the third time like last weekend. And
it's a fucking awesome movie, man.
Yeah, and then we're turning up to it. We're copying the same dance they did on the stairs and everything. And now you tell me this and I'm like, oh my goodness, bro. 20-year-old me.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah. And sometimes, from my point of view, there's this quote by Oscar Wilde. It's like an artist creates beautiful things and puts nothing of his own life into his work. And I wonder how much of that is true with the things that we see in people's, what they present as art or music.
Mm-hmm.
How much of their life are they putting into it? And it doesn't mean anything at all. Like Rock and Roll Part 2 had nothing to do with pedophilia or anything like that. That was just some guy that made that song and then ended up having these weird, crazy, illegal things that he had going on.
Dude, you just spoke so much truth in that because I'm a big rap fan, right? I'm into all this shit. And, there's this big criticism of all the new rappers like Lil Xan, all the Lils basically.
All the mumble rappers.
All the mumble with the face tattoos and everything. There's a big criticism of them because they all pretty much do like the same game plan every time. Mm-hmm. They make mixtapes out of it. But then you think about who are the legends, right? So you're talking Tupac, Jay-Z, Biggie. Mm-hmm. And then that Oscar Wilde thing, man, like these guys really put their life into that. Like their albums, like it's filled with like, education from their lives, like shit they learn on the street, shit they learn after becoming successful. So I'm thinking like that's a big reason. Like it's low key, we don't acknowledge it, but that's probably like one reason why most of society doesn't fuck with the mumble rap.
Yeah.
It's a big reason why we see like there's a gap between, you know, Lil Yachty and Jay-Z, because Jay-Z is talking about I made it from Marcy to Madison Square, and Lil Yachty's just talking about like, oh, you know, I got this AP on my wrist, or you know what I'm saying? Whereas he's not really putting like, you know, life lessons into like his tracks.
Yeah, it's more about the flashy things and that money can buy once you achieve success, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, bro. So that Oscar Wilde shit, I didn't know about that. I don't, because I'm not really into literature that much, and I was like, ooh, you know what?
It's very important, man.
Yeah, these guys knew. These guys
They
knew, bro.
definitely had a different perspective of the understanding of society. Right now, it's really hard to discover your own person because there's so much thrown at you
so
really
many
fast, right?
Subcultures, so many groups that all try to, you know, like put identity at the forefront of everything. And it's like sometimes like, hey, bro, like I don't want an identity, bro. Like I just want to be like, I'm just me. I'm an individual, you know.
Or you have a sense of identity that is your own, and that can be very similar to that, but it has nothing to do with you, who you are as a person. Like you're not Jay-Z, you're not that other person that you had mentioned. Like you just your own person, and you kind of take it in with a grain of salt sometimes.
Because that's how I think about it. I don't fuck with identity first and foremost, bro. And like that's my big, like politically, that's my big criticism of both of these fucking, you know, clown shows, as I like to call them. They're not parties, they're fucking clowns.
Yeah.
That's my big reason. Is there a problem with the mic? You keep looking at it.
No, just I just have trouble making
no big deal. You keep staring at the mic. I was like,
I'm just making sure that you're good.
Yeah,
you're good.
I'm good. I'm comfortable, bro. But yeah, that's my big criticism of them, because like the Democrats, they'll put, you know, color, race, religion at the forefront of everything, and sometimes like that's not what I care about. Sometimes what I care about is like we were just talking before the podcast. We were talking about the Midwest, you know, like, you know, it's reckless out there, it's crazy, and it's like the Democrats, they made a decision to abandon this place like back in the 70s or whatever. Yeah, like, they don't even attempt to get their votes anymore.
Right.
They don't even attempt it. They want the suburban high class vote that drives Mercedes and has high income. They don't even care about like people that just work. That's why the Republicans are so good with
the working class.
With the working class, because they talk like them, they walk like them. Even though the Republican Party is like filled with fucking billionaires and shit. Yeah. They know how to speak to that, you know, cohort of people.
Yeah, it's kind of insane how, and we have a president who
he can speak to them.
He can speak
he's a fucking 10
to the
billion.
working class. Yeah, and you know, he had his own personal struggles as a person, and just like everybody else, and but the fact that he comes from a lavish lifestyle to be able to speak to people like me.
That's where people get it fucked up, because you know, in New York City, like New York City is like the financial center of America. That's where you can find the richest people in America. All
if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Damn right, bro. But rich people in New York, they don't fuck with Trump. They never have. They didn't fuck with his dad. So that's part of the reason why you see like such a rebel like caricature, you know, happening from Donald. Yeah. Because I mean, the old money, like they never fucked with him. Yeah. And, you know, that's why he's so willing to, you know, do tariffs or, you know, say shit about China or do all this, because he understands like that's what hurts them. Like these guys love free trade. They love identity. Yeah.
They love being able to export people's jobs to other countries and make the money fast. Absolutely,
because they're the owners of capital.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this as like a, you know what I'm saying? What do I want to call it? An activist, you know, a democratic, you know, strategist. None of that. I'm not into that. I'm just a dude.
Yeah, dude, you don't want the label for it.
Yeah, and I read a bunch of books, seen a bunch of videos. Like, I know what I'm talking about, bro. Like, I run off numbers. I study finance. Like, that's just what I think, bro.
I'm glad that you find, you know, happiness and finding knowledge within these things, and that you don't let your opinion keep you from being hungry to learn more.
Yeah. I actually read his fucking book anyways. I remember people were talking shit to me. They're like, why do you have Trump's campaign book? I'm like, I want to know what the guy's saying. Yeah. He only says 30 seconds every time I see him on TV. I want to read a little bit more.
And they take the context out of that.
Yeah, exactly. They take the context out of everything, bro. Yeah. Like, I'll give him credit for tariffs. Like, that's the shit. I want stuff like made over here. I want people to have jobs and shit. And they'll be like, nah, anything he does is bad, therefore that's bad. Yeah. So, you know, before the podcast, we were chilling, we were vibing, we were talking about there's a lot of stuff about Trump that we're gonna miss when he's gone, whether it be like Like
this election or the next.
Yeah, no matter what it is, he's gonna be gone, and like
Yeah.
the Republican Party is gonna go back to like old school George Bush, Mitt Romney type shit. Because because they're gonna think like psychologically, like, guys, we got fucked up in the House, we're probably gonna get fucked up in the Senate. Like, society hates us, and it's because of this fucking guy. We got to go back to tax cuts and deregulation and fucking war on terror, that type of shit. Then maybe we'll win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, those are good things, right? But
I mean, when you combine them all into like this like neoconservative ideology that we had like in the 2000s and the 80s and shit.
Yeah, the hard, what I love about the president is that he is more center than anything, right?
Yeah.
He comes.
I think what fucked him the most is that he's been inviting all of these, because like, when you become a president, like, especially if you don't have experience like him, you get the job and you're like, okay, well, now I need like thousands of people under me that are gonna like execute everything that I do. But all of his executors are from the old regime,
right? George from the Obama's,
the Obama people, the George Bush people. So they're all like, we can't do these tariffs on China.
Yeah, people who are so used to doing things the old fashioned,
the right way,
the old school traditional way. Like, I think what I loved about electing somebody like that is that it's new, and of course, for me, it's like, of course it's gonna be chaotic, but sometimes you need that type of chaos to make something better. Yeah. Because what I didn't like about President Obama was that everybody that was around him was just a yes man. Like, the guy could do no wrong.
I agree with you, and I'll take it one step further. Certain man was surrounded by Ivy League.
Yeah.
Those same suburbanites, fancy people that I'm talking about, they all think the same way.
Yeah.
They all go to the same schools. There's a reason Obama bailed out the bankers and he didn't bail out normal people. He went to school with those same guys.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit. Like, these guys, they're, and this is not me saying it. Like, people have done research. People, like, write books. I mean, Listen Liberal by Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
I'll write that down real quick. But he's basically talking about, like, how the Democrats, like, they didn't do it, like, by accident. They did it on purpose. Like, 40 years ago, they were just like...
I would have never thought. I always thought they just neglected the folk by accident. But
yeah, he details in a long-ass book, like 300, 400 pages, how they went from FDR. And, FDR is the legend. He's the best president we ever had.
Elected
arguably.
3 times, man.
Yeah.
For a reason.
For a reason. LBJ, legend. But, I mean, in the late 60s, early 70s, they just chose to abandon these people because, I mean... In a way, I kind of understand them because during that time, there was a lot of equality in America, like money-wise. Like, everybody was on the same level.
Yeah.
Like, you either had a Chevy or a Buick. If you were a little bit richer, you had the Buick.
Are you talking post-depression?
1960s, yeah.
Okay.
It was a very, like, happy time money-wise.
Yeah.
Other than that, there was, like, the culture wars and shit, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they were under the assumption that the economy was going to grow forever. And that there would be no, like, big change or the internet. They didn't predict none of this shit.
Right.
So I could understand them because, like, right now, like, what the fuck are we going to predict that's going to happen in 10 years? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, like, there's going to be, like, the super internet or some
crazy shit.
Weird, like, chips embedded into your brain.
The shit that Elon just did, the Neuralink, whatever, with the pig. Like, that shit's crazy. So we don't know what the fuck's going to happen. But, I mean, that's why I don't really, I try telling people, like, yo, the Democrats aren't what you think, bro. Like, they're a real strange, like, organization.
Yeah. I definitely saw it with the WikiLeaks, right? Like, they posted all that shit. And I like WikiLeaks a lot because as much as,
it doesn't give you an opinion. It just gives you data.
Yeah. And then a lot of people are like, no, they're fake. But it's like nobody has ever come with any proof that they're not real. Like, I saw, like, the Pizzagate, like, I took it, I understood it, and I took it with a grain of salt, but it just all kind of felt weird, right? Like the spiritual cooking and all that stuff, and
I felt like maybe like that Pizzagate shit wasn't real, but like
there's something going on, something sketchy. Yeah,
something's going. Like, fucking Bill Clinton has a photo with this. He doesn't have just a photo. He's been there. Like, he's been to the fucking island. Like, workers have seen this motherfucker there.
He's getting, like, back rubs from Jeffrey Epstein himself. Like, it wasn't just at some gallery that he, like, hey, let's pose together. Yeah. Let's just take this picture, like, just like everybody else.
That's what I'm talking about when I say the establishment, bro. Like, the Republicans and Democrats aren't so different organization-wise. I'm not talking about, the supporters, because the supporters will fuck each other up. That's obvious.
Yeah, they they
But,
depend on
you
the
know,
division of the working class,
yeah,
and then
I'm talking the suits and ties guys.
Yeah,
the guys on Wall Street, the guys on Federal Reserve, they're all like part of the same club.
Yeah.
And we're not fucking in it, and we never will be.
Yeah, this is
Yeah. So to them, it's just a game.
yeah,
They see their fucking supporters as like pawns.
right.
Like, okay, like we got these QAnon people. Let's get them into the mix. Let's let them fight. They see them as fucking like, you know, like chess pieces.
Yeah, let the pawns go first.
The
right?
Democrats as well. They'll see the people like protesting and rioting and shit. They're like, oh yeah, let's let these guys fuck them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like my way of creating chaos for them, right? Because I want people to get along. So like I'm trying to put a wrench in their plans, but
in the midst of the chaos, you can come out and say, look what the president's causing.
mm-hmm.
Wow, like there's underlying causes to it. Nobody understands Donald Trump's fucking election, bro. Every person I talks to, they're always like, oh, racism took over America, or bigotry took over America. I'm like, no, y'all got it twisted.
Yeah.
Since 1980, we've been exporting left and right to China, to Mexico, to all these places.
That's where I saw it.
Inequality started growing fucking exponentially. What do you think is gonna happen? What else is going on? The war on terror. You had so many like soldiers lose their lives over in Iraq, Afghanistan. Like, bro, the fucking the neoliberals, the neoconservatives, they fucked this country up.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Like
I told you about the 60s a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
it was a relatively peaceful country. Everybody had like the same level of money, and it wasn't because like there was communism. It was just because like this was a good country.
Yeah,
we made shit here
for sure. Yeah, everything was made in here. That's for sure.
We had family values. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a Cold War. There were Soviets. Like we had to beat them, and part of that deal to beat them meant that we had to take care of like the poorest and middle class people here at home.
Yeah.
And today we don't have like that unified like threat. Like we were talking about haters. That haters can be good because they inspire you to do something.
They act like a foil for us to grow and to become better
and learn. Yeah. And today we don't really have that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like
it's just the constant bashing of each other. Like you're this because you support that and
it was so good that we were just too good for them. Like. We had fucking Buicks and Chevys and all these nice ass cars that the Soviets were building some bullshit.
Yeah, but going back to like Democrats, with Obama, I felt like he was the reason why somebody like Donald Trump got elected, right?
And they'll
never admit it.
Admit it.
Yeah, because they started looking at this guy like just a celebrity, right?
This man, oh my goodness, I got so much to say. You can go on, bro. I got.
Yeah, I know you got like a whole fucking thing of ideas, but yeah, I saw it as President Obama. He could do no wrong. He was like their guy, right? He was their hero. And for me, I saw it like, well, wait, why isn't anybody calling out the things that he does wrong, right? Because it's important to be critical of the people that you support, but with Democrats, it's like nothing ever gets done the right way because it's all just people saying, "Yeah, you're doing a fantastic job." It's like, no, wait, can you point out the flaws for me? Can you let me know how I can do this better? I understood kind of like how politics kind of works from watching The Dark Knight with Christopher Nolan.
Absolutely, timeless movie.
I always felt like, Obama was like Batman, right? Like he went in there and he tried to do good with what he could. And when the Joker came in, it's like people depended on a guy that they didn't fully understand. And so they just gave him the chance, right? And in the end of the movie, like the Joker ended up doing more good with his chaos than Obama did trying to do the right thing and fight for the things he wanted to do, right? Because enabling somebody is dangerous on kind of every level, I suppose.
Man, Obama, that's crazy because that's basically like, that's the environment, like the political environment that I grew up in. So I grew up with, the rise of the Tea Party, the movement, which wasn't really a organic movement. We're having an organic conversation. The Tea Party wasn't organic at all. It was funded by these fucking Koch brothers and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, we go on and we're talking about, the debt ceiling, the national debt, which, by the way, that's the same playbook the Republicans are going to bust out. If Joe Biden wins, the Republicans are going to do
the opposite.
National debt. We can't spend no more. I'm sorry. they're the ones that spend the most, right?
Yeah.
The Republicans, it's statistically
It's almost like people for like me and you. It's predictable, right?
I mean, that's part of the reason the Republicans are big spenders, you know, because they spend big, they create these massive, you know, deficits, national debt, they add to it, and then, you know, when the Democrats get the power after the mess they make, you know, then they're like, we can't spend no more money, guys. We don't have it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
and it actually goes back to, you know, each other doing the same thing, right? Like Democrats spend.
It's a game. Yeah.
Yeah. Democrats spend. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like when they're in power, it's like, well, you know, Republicans ruined this for us, you know?
Yeah. It's a back and forth. Exactly. But
yeah, and that's
either way, you know, it's a fucking game to them. That shit doesn't matter. You know,
it's an imaginary number.
Yeah. I study this. Like the national debt doesn't matter. We could literally play with it, fiddle with it as long as we want to. Nothing bad's gonna happen to it. The U.S. can't ever go bankrupt. It's fucking impossible. If it is possible, then I'll fucking pay you $1,000 right here, right now.
It's kind of crazy because not a lot of people realize that money, paper money, is just an imaginary number, really, because it's not backed by gold or anything. Yeah, fiat currency.
It's our fucking military presence, all that shit, just our power in general. Like the idea of America is what keeps that.
All them nukes, man.
All them nukes, bro. You can't fuck with us. And you know, I'm pretty left, right? As you can probably tell. But I fuck with like defense spending and that type of shit. Like I'm okay with fucking having bases in Africa and shit because I don't want China taking control of that.
Right.
Like, who would you rather have in charge of it? You know, us. We're flawed, right? Obviously.
But was not communism.
But there's communists over there that want the same thing. Like, I don't want that. But back to Obama, dude. This guy surrounded himself with Ivy League for days, man. Let me tell you, you mentioned WikiLeaks earlier. Man, the one that blew my fucking mind. And, you know, I didn't find it myself. You know, I have the courtesy of a lot of YouTube channels that find all the shit for me. But one of the guys on YouTube that I saw, he busted out a leak. It was an email from 2008. And it's a Citigroup banker, like a high executive of Citigroup. It's like one of the fucking giant Wall Street banks.
Yeah.
He basically picked all of Obama's cabinet members for him.
I would have never realized.
Every single name.
Holy shit.
Larry Summers, Timothy Geithner, every single one of those motherfuckers ended up working for Obama.
Damn, bro.
And who was Obama's biggest funders in 2008? As the fucking recession.
Wall Street, right?
Wall Street, bro.
Fucking insane, bro.
Dude, let me tell you something more.
Yeah, I'm here.
I got heat on this man, bro. Let me tell you about this guy, bro. So 2008, he believes marriage is between man and woman. Family values, that guy, right?
Absolutely.
2012, who starts phoning him? The LGBT community.
Right.
Because they're worried about the Mormon, Mitt Romney.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Guess which man said, oh, you know what? I'm cool with gay marriage. What's up, y'all?
Mitt Romney, right?
No, Obama.
Oh, yeah, for the votes.
Who's the donors? Giving them the money.
Yeah.
Follow the money, bro. Follow the money.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah, I always thought it was like insane that there's people who identify with who they are socially, and then but everything like conservatively wise, they align with more Republican values, right?
Yeah, I'm big into family values and shit. So whenever I see, you know, like these blue-haired, you know, activists with the pussy hats on, I'm like, man, you know what, bro? Like, I fuck with the Democrats, right? Like I like their vision for the country. Like, you know, I agree with it a little bit more than the other guys, but it's like you guys are really embarrassing me right now because I'm just the guy, you know. I'm just here like eating a fucking sandwich, like the guy said on your first podcast. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah. And I'm just here chilling, you know, about like whatever. And then you guys are out here taking this to like, I don't know, levels that seem stupid to me.
Yeah, and we get nowhere that way because it only reinforces the political views of the opposite side, right?
Polarization,
Yeah, the only reason like why we are now seeing like the Trump train, like the trucks here down in the valley with the Trump flags running around, like is because people
you motherfuckers are out there making them come out.
Yeah, like you're the enemies that make us want to be louder than you because people are tired of being silenced, man. People are so exhausted of being told they're racist and it doesn't align with their who they are inside, man.
Yeah, they're not racist. Like you cannot fucking
you can't see what's in people's hearts just because they don't agree with you.
There's something they're doing to them. There's a verb that you guys use that I totally agree with back then. They're shaming these guys. They're shaming the voters into, you know,
the hardcore bullying, right?
Yeah, it is. and it is bullying. Like, there's no other fucking word to describe it.
But
like,
it's so weird how they preach like tolerance, right? You guys should be tolerant. How dare you? And but at the same time, it's like you're not being tolerant of political views.
And that's part of, what being a Democrat should be, because like in the 60s, like, the new left, the Democrats, like, they were about that. They were about as much free speech as humanly possible. The fucking there's an organization, they're always watching out for minorities and stuff.
Yeah.
But
the NAACP?
AACP,
National Association of Colored People.
Yeah. And they defended a KKK rally one time. Not because they like them, but because like free speach, no matter what.
Like you might fucking hate it, but it's
you gotta let them talk, because the thinking is let me think about this for a little bit. But the idea is if you try to bully people and take away free speech, in the future, when these motherfuckers, if by any chance they get power, if you even allow them to, they're gonna do the same shit to you.
Right.
They're gonna take away the speech, and believe me, the left is more affected by the diminution of free speech than the other side, because the other side, deep down, they really don't care, because at the heart of conservatism is this
individuality. Like you can be yourself.
Yeah,
and I respect who you are. Yeah. Like I just let me praise my own values and be myself.
Part of conservatism is no change.
Right.
A big part of it is, it stems from like our separation from the UK.
It's more traditional.
We had a kingdom one time. We're a republic now, but let's try to act like a kingdom. That type of thing. The
people who really stuck to their guns and kept everything the same were the Amish, bro. That's insane. I think
I don't understand how those guys live.
I think being
shout out the Amish.
Yeah, if you're listening
to this, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out y'all.
But it's really, there has to be a balance with everything, right? And with everything that we see nowadays, like you can't be far left or far right. Like, please be a reasonable person. Yeah. Look at both sides, and however your values align, you vote for your candidate. But there's no point in calling somebody a racist or a libtard if like there is no progress for us to move on. Like, you can't be hard conservative and expect everything to be done your way. There has to be compromise in the center. Yeah. And with everything that we see in politics today, it's like you got to do this my way or the highway. Like, everybody's just trying to get at each other's throats. And what I want to do is essentially open people's minds and realize that we are better than the people at the top, right? The people that are making these crazy decisions that feed off this division that we as humans are ensuing because we're playing right into their game. This is being chaotic and raising hell is
you're being a chess piece.
Yeah, it just means more votes for them. Like this side that gets out there and gets in your face like that. Regular people don't want to be aligned with that. Yeah,
regular people just want to be themselves and go with their guy.
And it hurts people of the same communities, right? Like the whole defund the police movement. Like it doesn't really say what
I want police in my hood.
It doesn't say what it means, right? Because police
they come up with these crazy slogans, right?
That don't mean what they say, right?
Don't mean what they say. It's like, okay, I get it. You're trying to reform the police. Just fucking say reform.
Yeah, and police brutality.
I know they're trying to say defund because they want it to, sound more powerful and all that. But I mean, come on, bro. Like, if you want to achieve your goals of having like less people getting shot at or having police officers that can de-escalate a situation, then what you want to do is give them more money. So they can train the fucking cops better, and so they can find the bad ones and kick them off the fucking force, or make the training hard enough so that the shitty cops don't ever get a chance.
Yeah, so that people can perform well under pressure instead of like...
But they never tell you that. They never go on CNN and say that. They go on the streets and they're defund the police, take the money, put it in somewhere else. I'm like...
Well, it's also a media problem.
I'm fine with... Yeah, the media is fucking crazy too. The media, I can go out for hours, bro.
Well, good thing we have time.
Good thing we got time, bro. I can't stand the media, bro. Mainstream media, I say. I'm fine with this. Yeah. This is organic. This is the shit. Yeah. YouTube is the shit. Well, I mean, YouTube is kind of funky.
Right, as long as they don't...
YouTube is kind of funky because I got on YouTube starting in 2015, 2016-ish, and it was fucking paradise, my guy. You're old enough to understand that. It was fucking unregulated. It was kind of like the internet of old.
Almost no ads, right?
No ads, no fucking bots, no the algorithm wasn't reading your fucking mind and
Mm-hmm.
trying to feed you the same shit so you can think a certain way. It was like that, bro. But now, you know, starting fucking college, like every year after year, it just gets crazier on the internet, bro. And you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing Twitter take off this fucking guy's tweets and all this shit.
Yeah, it's insane
That's
how
right. And, you know,
they've become like the
yeah.
very evil they swore out to destroy, right?
Add Silicon Valley to the equation of Wall Street and all these fucking establishment pricks. Like, they're part of the same group now.
Yeah.
They used to be, you know, the rebels, you know, oh, we're not going to wear suits to corporate, or we're not going to work 9 to 5. We're going to work from at like 4 a.m. to fucking 8 a.m.
Yeah, they started playing the same game as them, and then
Now the Google CEO gets a fucking seat at the DNC, bro. Like,
what the fuck? Oh shit! All right,
look,
all right,
all right. Rewind it, bro. When you get time, go on YouTube, search up DNC 2016, right? Because that's when people were actually there, like in person.
I wonder how much of like
There's a fucking, you know how stadiums have like a box for like rich people, right? They pay like 30 G's so they can watch a game in like their own private lounge. Fucking Eric Schmidt of Google has his own box at the fucking Democratic convention, bro. This is no bullshit. You can just type in Eric Schmidt DNC. That man is right there, bro.
Wow,
watching over the fucking peasants, you know, debate and shit.
I wonder how much of today's culture is being manipulated by them. Like, it has to be a certain percentage, man, because it feels like there's an illusion of free will, bro.
Yeah, and you know, I'm a free market guy, right? But
yeah, same here. Like, let it play out.
I study this shit. I'm into economics, finance. I know all about it, bro. Like, they've been throwing this shit into my head for a long time now. But when it comes to these fucking giant platforms, bro, I really think they're utilities, bro. Because I don't know, because they understand like addiction. They're smart. Like, they know how to get people onto these fucking platforms and keep them there, and then polarize them. And
they have all these research and study and developments that can trigger you in specific ways to get you to act.
Yes. And I don't know like how much longer we can keep them as fucking private enterprises without having them like keep this country polarized, bro. I really think that these fucking companies deserve to be either broken up into their component pieces. Like Facebook Marketplace, it's its own shit. Facebook Timeline is its own shit. Or just make them a fucking utility. Like how we have like the water or electricity and all that shit.
Oh, that's what you were talking about, like making them.
There's
like,
two options. There's a shitload of options. Like I mean, other countries give us fucking examples, right?
And this is a great way to explore those ideas, man. Yeah. Because the further that we keep yelling at each other and being unreasonable
their power is fucking terrifying, bro.
Yeah.
Because that's real power. Real power is not fucking going on the streets and BLM, all this shit.
Yeah.
Real power is when you control like when you give off the illusion of power. When you're not even there, when you're just like in the background controlling shit. When nobody can see you, nobody can protest you. Nobody's out there protesting Facebook. Nobody's protesting Amazon.
Yeah. If anything, they're funding the protests.
Yeah.
That keep them empowered. Like,
and because
like,
they know, like in 2005, they would have never funded these fucking protests.
Yeah.
Because they would have been like, oh, we're probably going to lose money, guys. We can't do this.
Yeah.
And then today they see a big ass giant dollar sign above this opportunity. They're like, damn, hey, bro, y'all like BLM? You know what? We're going to support that. What's up?
Yeah.
Order more packages from us.
I keep seeing like those, like during the George Floyd protest, it just automatically became like the thing, right? The slogan to post on your product, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of ridiculous. It's like, hey, this is, I know you guys, want to incite these flames of war because like somebody sees that, it's like Black Lives Matter. Oh shit, it's either it forces you to pick a side.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly dangerous because, again, Black Lives Matter doesn't really mean Black Lives Matter. It means like police brutality. Yeah. But the other side is like, what do you mean only Black Lives Matter? Don't I matter too? I'm not black, but I matter, But that's where we need to be able to understand each other. Yeah,
I mean, the Black Lives Matter is a tricky one because I fuck with black people, right? I grew up around them, I listen to rap. I'm into it. When I was a kid, I never thought of them as other people. It's only today or 2015ish where we started seeing like, oh, those are black people. Yeah. And to me, it was just like no, that's just people, bro. Those are
human beings.
Those are just my compatriots. Those are my fellow Americans, bro. I don't see them as nothing else. They represent me. Some of them are senators. Some of them are drug dealers. Some of them are ball players.
But we're all human beings in the end.
Yeah, it is what it is. And BLM's a tricky, bro, because the organization itself, I don't know if I can fuck with the organization, bro, because the organization is headed by two Marxists, bro.
Yeah.
They protested Bernie a while back. Bernie, of all people, they wanted to protest. I'm like, dude, this guy fucking went to jail to end segregation. Like, he was protesting that shit, like real shit, real shit. And they were trying to make fun of him for it too. They were trying to like do a gotcha,
right?
Like, oh, did you know Bernie has a criminal record? It's like the motherfucker was out on fucking picket line protesting segregated housing, bro.
Yeah, I admire Bernie Sanders to a certain
because
level.
He's not one of those fucking people in the boxes, in the lounges, you know, doing that shit.
And then when, you know,
you might not, these people might not agree with him, but you can't say he's being fake, because he ain't being fake. If he was in the studio right now, he'd probably tell it to us like how it is.
Yeah. I think he's been in Joe Rogan's studio and everything.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say is he's a pretty real person that unfortunately he understands the work, the way the establishment works, and it worked against him both elections. And
oh my god, this is what pisses me off about him.
Yeah. I would fight till the bitter end, but I think he because
no, not fight till the bitter end. I mean, you know, you surrender, but you let those people know, like, hey, there's a fucking machine behind this guy. CNN is behind him.
You think
MSNBC
he just cut out?
Behind him. You think he just won fair and square? Like, no, he had Wall Street behind him. He had these CNN people behind him. He had these fucking George Bush operators. Let me tell you about this.
Yeah, bro. There's people crazy on both sides, right?
Oh my goodness, bro. The Democrats are trying to revive George Bush.
How? Why?
They're trying to make this guy look, Donald Trump has fucking, what do you call it when a fucking machine just goes fucking crazy, like haywire and shit? The Democrats' brain is fucking fried, because now the whole point of the party is like, let's not be like George W. Bush. And now because of Trump, and he's got their head all fucking twisted and all these type of ways.
Right, they end up making really bad choices because they hate the guy so much.
They end up saying positives about the Iraq war.
That's insane, bro.
Dude,
holy shit.
Look, let me tell you. Look,
I feel like
look.
Okay,
let me tell you, bro. Right. I got.
Let me listen.
This next one. This next one is heat, bro.
Okay.
So there's this guy John Bolton, right? He was like one of Trump's defense advisors. He's like a old school white guy. He used to be in the Bush Club. He has a big old mustache. He's very recognizable. Trump fired his ass for a fucking strange reason, very un-Republican reason. So Bolton is the type of guy.
He's a war hawk.
Bingo. And what was happening in January? Dude, we were ready to pounce on fucking Iran, right?
Yeah. I remember people were like, oh my God, we're going to go into World War III.
February, Trump does a State of the Union. In February, this guy was going to win the fucking election easy. Dow Jones, 30,000, fucking unemployment, 2%. It was a wrap. And, he was proclaiming victory, and he was going to do like some shit. He was going to take some troops out of Syria and out of Jordan and shit. And I was like, I'm all for it. I don't want us to be in those fucking places. And then Bolton is the guy who says, no, sir. We got to stay in Afghanistan because of minerals and this and that. And then he fires his ass. He's gone. He writes a book about how much he hates Trump and all this shit. And then he gets on MSNBC, and the Democrats are like, oh my God, you're amazing, bro. You're amazing. You're so anti-Trump. You're so Antifa. You're amazing.
Like, way to stick
and
it
this
to
fucking
him.
guy is the one who did the Iraq war. He's the one that wrote this fucking shit. But yeah, and they're making him look like a good guy. They're making Bush look like a good guy. Oh my God, he's so patriotic. He stood on the ruins of
Mitt Romney as well, right?
Mitt Romney too.
Yeah, oh my God.
Like John Kasich. Oh my God, this guy's amazing. He's tremendous. He's awesome. He has respect, unlike Donald Trump. They put that at the forefront of everything.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be well mannered and rehearsed. You can't be like Donald Trump. Even though Donald Trump, like, statistically, his issues are more fucking Democratic than Republican, but because he talks and walks a certain way and he doesn't roll around with the same people, the Democrats hate him.
Yeah, it's
because tariffs, that would have been perfectly fine for Obama to do. Anti-China, that would have been fine for him to do. His fan base would have been okay with it.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, man. I always thought it was strange how, like, he's more like center. He is actually more Democratic than most Democrats.
The man was an actual Democrat. He was registered as a Democrat before 2016.
Yeah, I think because the Republican platform aligned more with the working class is why he chose to become a Republican.
Yeah,
and I admire you.
Plus, their voters are more. I mean, at least back then, like 2015, 2014-ish, at least back then, it was pretty easy to get Republican votes because they're the type of people that, they just Fox News and Culture and all this shit. So they were, before the Antifa people, these guys were like the right wing Antifa. Like they were all like, they all looked a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's so weird how we're going so forwards only to be backwards,
And, don't get it twisted, because on the flip side of Obama, I just talked a lot of shit about him just now. But I admire the fucking guy. He's a pro. He speaks real good.
He's a great talker, man.
He's a great talker.
He can get you to feel things for sure.
Yeah, he can get you to feel shit. But I mean, on the flip side of Obama, the positive side, post recession, like 2013, 2014-ish, the news cycle was so fucking boring, bro. And you know what? I kind of miss that news cycle. I miss that sense of like, the world is at ease. We're doing shit for the Syrian people. We're winding down the wars and over there.
Yeah.
The economy's fucking booming. The Dow Jones just climbed 5,000 points today. And you're just focused on you. You're just like, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna get these dope ass grades. I'm gonna get this major. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
And I miss that sense of like, boredom. You were talking about, you were trying to get your vibe together. You were trying to mellow out. And, sometimes that's how I feel, but not internally, externally. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I want, like, the world to just, like, dude, give up on Trump, give up on Antifa, give up on all this shit. Like, I just want to be boring and have, like, the dynamism and the optimism.
Same. That's my purpose in life, man.
Let's throw it back a little bit, because you like Reagan. I like Reagan. I don't like Reagan because of his policies. I like Reagan because of, like, he brought, like, a sense of peace.
Dude, he got shot, bro, and he still, was able to overcome these things.
Well, that's one thing, right?
Like, I admire that.
But I admire that he brought a sense of order back to America, because the entire 1970s, we had lost our way. It was kind of like right now.
Oh, we had the Vietnam War.
We had the Vietnam. We had the protests. We had the chaos. We had wars that we just couldn't win, like we have right now. We had
it just feels like history keeps repeating itself.
Shitty economy,
man.
And then Reagan was like, "Damn, like, can we just go back to being boring?"
Yeah,
that's basically what he did. He didn't do it. Like, if you look,
that's why the 80s were so successful.
If you look at his policies, like, he didn't really do much. He just steadied the fucking boat. And, in a way, that's kind of what I respect about Biden, because, he's just going to do that. He's going to steady the boat. He's going to grow old and die. Then he's going to have fucking Harris do the shit. And you know what? I don't care what their policies are, bro. I want boredom. You know what I'm saying? I want Dow Jones 50,000.
Yeah, but my biggest issue with that is, like, the Obama years when they were peaceful, they really weren't, because this media narrative that everything is fine, don't worry about it.
No. It was only 2 years. Let me clarify.
Okay.
It was only like the period between his re-election victory and the emergence of Donald Trump in like late 2015.
Yeah.
If you're old enough to remember, I'm old enough to remember, but that news cycle for those 2-3 years, lame. There was nothing going on in the world. I mean, it started off with like, talks about, the budget and sequestration and all this shit, but nobody ever pays attention to that.
Right.
There was no people wilding out in the streets. We were just focused on football, the Dow Jones, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's...
Like, give me major news from 2014, 15, 16. The biggest news was that the refugees in Europe. That was the biggest news for that news cycle, and it wasn't even in America.
Right.
That's how good things were. And I'm not saying, it was good, like, just boom, like, it's good for everybody. Like, nah, there was people, that's why Trump got elected, because there was people that weren't doing good.
There's people that I definitely feel got left behind in that economy.
Absolutely. And we're seeing it right now. I just read an article
I feel like
back.
I'm definitely getting left behind, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's because I can bring, like, add another thought to what you're thinking, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading an article on CNBC, right? And economists are talking about a K-shaped recovery. So a K is just a straight line, and two lines that go, one goes up, one goes down. So in this recovery, which we're currently going through, we're still in a recession, right? A shitty one, probably like the worst in a fucking 100 years or whatever. But what we're seeing is that the stock market has fucking returned to like the levels it was in February.
Yeah.
So it's nearly at 30,000.
Because the policies that, President Trump supports are actually pretty good for the country as a whole.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a dick, bro, but can I correct you?
Yeah, go for it.
It's
Yeah, expand my mind, please.
Yeah, it's not really. I mean, the president can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
He can't really, you have this control panel right here that you can use to control the podcast, but the president doesn't really have like that power over the economy, bro. So in 2008, the reason that we fell behind so bad back then is one, we thought recessions were done for. Like in academia, we thought recessions were a thing of the past, that we're never going to have them, that low taxes, deregulation, globalization, offshoring, it was recessions were never going to happen ever again.
Yeah, we had it too good, right?
We had it too good, right? And everybody was buying houses with 0 down payments and shit. But I mean, the Federal Reserve didn't know how to react to it. And now, since they have like experience handling a big ass recession, they basically kept our credit markets from freezing up. So we're still able to take out loans. We're still able to get 0 interest on cars and houses and shit. And they also did bailouts. The Federal Reserve bought corporate debt. So now businesses, like big businesses, of course, mostly, they're able to stay afloat because the debt is being taken care of by the feds, the Federal Reserve, not Donald Trump, because the Federal Reserve is not even related to Donald Trump.
Right, but he's not like, fucking with it where he's sending jobs
he tries to fuck with it, right?
Yeah.
He'll be like, Jerome Powell, you need to lower interest rates. But I mean, Jerome Powell is like the fucking god, bro. Like he doesn't need to listen to nobody. Like
I'm concerned for the amount of power that the Federal Reserve has.
That man is as close to God as you'll ever get, bro.
Shit, bro.
I'm not even joking. Like Jerome Powell, like, dude, like I understood what power meant when I was watching CNBC and the Federal Reserve minutes were about to be released. He was about to make a speech. And then you know how CNBC has like a ticker, right, of like all the stock prices and bond prices and shit. Every time that this guy speaks, they stop moving. People stop buying and selling for like, you see that like first it's fucking jumping up and down like crazy. Man, and then this guy starts talking and then everybody just like fucking shuts the fuck up and starts listening.
The amount of power that somebody can have is crazy dangerous, man.
And
this guy's not even on the freaking news cycle. Like, hey, we should probably look and monitor what this guy does specifically.
Yeah.
But with all this, this whole destruction that's going on, it's hard to focus on the people that are really in charge of that are pulling the strings behind the curtain.
Yeah, but basically that's what I'm saying is that he knew how to react to this because he had already seen it before. So he's basically, and he also promised like a week ago, he said like, hey, we're going to keep interest rates at 0 for the next 10 years or however long it takes to recover. And then because of that, stock prices are just going to keep going up and up and up. We can get loans at 0% interest, etc. Government can borrow as much money as it wants to and not have to pay anything, or they get fucking paid to borrow because that's how it works.
Yeah, dude. Let me just take a pause to let you know that you are a pretty smart, individual, bro. You're a fucking young man that really can spit out some knowledge at the top of your head, and that is great, bro. That is amazing.
Yeah, I feel like I have to do it sometimes because I can't really operate with emotions, right? I can curse and swear, but that's not really emotions. That's just me using like modifiers to explain a point. You know, what
a lot of people focus on just the emotional aspect of everything, man. Yeah. Like it sucks because I see it with Democrats. Like they just want a voter base, right? They just want to expand their voter base through like any method possible except with actually helping people, right? Yeah.
They fail to expand it where it matters, which is working people.
Yeah, that's where I feel like Democrats need to do better. Like I want to be able to see a Democrat that I can feel comfortable electing. Yeah. As a person who
don't get it twisted. If this was 50 years ago, you would have voted for LBJ.
Yeah, no. That's the thing. Like, I want to be able to vote on the candidate and their policies, not vote blue no matter who or vote red. You
would have been in 1992. You would have been struggling with the recession. And you would have voted for Bill Clinton because you would have said in your mind, "I like what this man's saying. I agree with him more than I agree with the other guy."
Yeah, dude. Bill Clinton, hell of a speaker, bro. Hell of a speaker.
He could convince a lot of people to vote for him.
You definitely beat
the little. Every time he would talk, he would do this little motion.
Yeah. Dude, I'm glad that you're fucking young enough to actually want to expand your mind with things from the past, because not a lot of people focus on pop culture and everything.
You want to hear another bar?
Yeah. Go for it.
Dude, this one is insane. Okay, like I just mentioned LBJ, another one. He's a fucking legend. The guy worked with Republicans, Democrats, coerced them.
That's what you need, man. That is what you need. And
he was a pretty left guy, like politically, like the stuff he did, it was pretty left, but he managed to like, I don't know, like maneuver politically to like get it done, like no matter what. And we're talking about 2016, Trump's election. So like in September 2016, what ended up happening is and this is just a month before election, right? Or 2 months. So October, September, shit's getting crazy. And the Democrats, they ended up doing a stupid mistake. So like a central part of like this election was healthcare, as you can remember, right? Yeah. So what ended up happening, the Obama administration, they fucking raised the premiums on Obamacare.
Nah, shit.
And that's its own debate, right? Like how good is, American healthcare, Obamacare, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, when it's time to throw down and you're against a guy that's anti, like whatever you are, like what the fuck would LBJ say about like this type of political strategy?
Yeah.
Like the fucking guy would say, hey, you know what? Premiums have to go up, but you know what? Don't fucking move them up until we win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like if you were thinking like a person at the top of the ticket, or the person that is in charge of the establishment.
They don't think like that 25%. We're talking 25%, like it's a quarter. Like, dude, think about people who pay $5Gs a year for their healthcare, bro. Like 25%, that's a shitload of money.
That is a lot of money, man.
Those are the people that are trying to decide whether to vote for Hillary or Donald. You know, like what the fuck do you think they're gonna do? Like after you charge them more money for shit that doesn't work.
So I think what you're trying to say is I know what you're trying to say is, dude, you gotta be, if you're gonna be a candidate, you gotta look out for the working class, because that's what drives this economy. Those are the people that we depend on, like the people that
like, rich people have a lot of money, but I mean, how much votes can they possibly have? Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they do you think it could be something that they focus on the rich so that they get more money to be able to drive policy?
And what ends up happening is that the rich don't really want policy done. Like
they just want to be left alone to get more money, or
they want to be left alone to get more money. They don't want people to like. Have you ever seen The Big Short?
I've seen clips of it. Yeah,
you've seen clips of it. Well, part of it is Wall Street. They make their language so complicated because like they want to be part of like an exclusivity thing.
Oh yeah,
kind of like a club. And then the second part is that they just want to be left the fuck alone. So they want it to be so complicated that like people won't even question it. They'll just be like, oh, it's just some fucking nerds doing banking and shit.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I saw from like watching movies like that or The Wolf of Wall Street is like they don't really care whether the regular person makes money off the stock market. They just want to get you to invest and take their fucking cut.
Yeah, make the commissions. Yeah. That's why I just invest with Robinhood and Acorns, because I don't get charged commissions.
Those small penny stocks.
No, not penny stocks. I buy blue chips. Blue chips. But I mean, I don't pay commissions to anybody. I used to pay commissions like $7 a fucking trade, bro, and that used to hurt. Because $7 when you're like a young person, it's like, damn, I could buy water break with that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me take a break now.
Go for it.
Thank you. All right, and we're back to the gray space. We actually just took a break, and what we were trying to say is, actually we were just talking about this a little while ago. It's that I ended up booking 2 guests back to back, and when Miguel came in, I was already wired, and I was like just feeling so freaking great from having an awesome conversation with one of my guests, and I don't think he understood before that what I was feeling, and I think right now that when we actually hit the pause button, he finally understood, or the person that he first saw when he came drive in. So now you get it, man. So yeah, welcome to you're welcome to be my guest anytime, and it's great to have you because you're a pretty smart kid, and I want to see that more in people, where they just go ahead and they look up the facts before they put in personal emotion. If anything, I believe like, yes, you should have some emotion, but not make that your driving factor behind everything.
I save that for my chick.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Anyways, so, I mean, the personal emotion thing, I mean, it feels good when you do it. Like, let's not kid ourselves. When you're driving yourself with just your heart, like, that's pretty dope, because, you're sort of taking a stand, you're taking a side, but you're not really, like, proving anything, or you're not disproving nothing, right? Mm-hmm. And, I feel like that's where both sides, like, the
crazy amount of passion that people have,
the fanaticism.
This
guy called it that.
Not
Ben Shapiro.
My first guest, Oscar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I keep calling you Ben Shapiro, bro. But
he's pretty great.
But shout out y'all.
Yeah.
I like how y'all think.
Thank you. And it all comes down to personal views and experience. Like, what experiences led you to become the person that you are today?
Man, I got so many, bro. Like, the thing is, like, when you're broke, but you're a kid, you don't really understand that you're broke until like you go to middle school, and then like somebody like says like, bro, you're not wearing gas, you're not wearing Hollister, bro. Like, you ain't with us. Like, I'm like, the fuck you talking about? My shit's new.
Yeah. I think sometimes
like I didn't understand class until
like the division of class or between the poor, the middle, the high.
I didn't understand class until I was like fucking, let me tell you a story, right? We can stray aside from like Democrats and shit for a little bit.
No, actually, if anything, that adds value to this.
Yeah, let me tell you a story, because I feel like I haven't talked about like experiences and shit, but like when I used to live on Section 8 in the apartments, I had a friend named Ralph, and we would always play around. We'd be on the slides, the swing set, whatever. We didn't have no phone, so we were actually playing like for hours on end, sweating, stinking and shit. And then, I mean, we were both like at the same level of money. We both had like the same number of like relatives in our houses. Yeah,
pretty similar backgrounds.
And I remember one day, like, my mom like just yelled at me from the window, like, "Hey, come back! It's time to eat." And that was my signal to like take a shower, get to the dinner table, and just do our thing. So I take a shower, right? I'm back home, and I get out. I'm already clothed, and I see the front door, and my mom is there with my boy Ralph, and Ralph is fucking crying. He's on the floor.
Why?
And he's like, "I want to keep playing with Mikey. I want to keep playing with Mikey." But he's fucking like genuinely sad. And I'm thinking like, what the fuck, bro? Like, we're just gonna play tomorrow. Like, I didn't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, "Hey, Ralph, it's okay, bro. Like, we're gonna play tomorrow. Like, whatever. Like, we'll trade Yu-Gi-Oh cards, whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
And I never understood why the fuck he was that sad. But one day he invited me to play the PlayStation at his house, and it smelled like fucking cigarettes, bro. It fucking reeked. The place was a mess. There was like fucking. I vividly remember seeing like a fucking blood stain like on a counter somewhere, like from like somebody was cleaning like a wound or something, and they just left it there like unclean. And then I realized like, okay, like there's two levels of like being broke. No diss to Ralph, like he's doing okay now. But like there's that level, and then there's my level where you're expected to like, because my parents were like that. They're like, "Look, I don't understand what the fuck you're studying. I don't know how to do your homework." My mom don't even know English,
right?
But they always like expected like a certain level of like excellence. But I know like they would tell me that like, "I know you're not a dumbass. You're smarter than the rest of these." Like they would always tell me like, "Dude, like you're special. Like the rest of these motherfuckers are gonna be like dealers. They're gonna be working at Whataburger, not you."
Yeah, that's how I felt too.
That's how I realized like, holy shit, like not to be like arrogant or nothing, but I realized like people are just that way because of like their lot in life.
Yeah.
And like who they have around them,
their
like
circumstances.
Like how we're having this conversational vibe right now.
Yeah, I read a book that was like focused around helping others and charity.
Yeah.
And I took it to heart because I felt like it spoke to me like the circumstances of your childhood do not determine the outcomes of your future.
Yeah.
And I see that now in who I am, right? Yeah, I don't think I would have ever been comfortable with a life that just settles for less or where I was discouraged to want more, right? I think my parents have always expected me to want a better life for me more than they had. However, I always felt that they couldn't, like if they didn't walk through the same doors and clear a path for me, there was no path for me to go on to. So I don't know if you can relate with that because like you, I think we are similar in the sense that we have parents that didn't fully finish school and they had really high expectations for us, which is great. But at the same time, it's like you got to be able to walk through those doors so that your kids know that it's possible to achieve these things.
Yeah.
And did you ever struggle with that as well?
With doors, you mean? Making a path for yourself.
Yeah.
It is pretty hard to do that because I was a kid. Like I excelled in fucking school. Like I just knew like I'm pretty fucking smart. Like I thought to myself that like I was like, dude, like Ruben, like you're not that smart, bro.
Yeah.
I'm fucking smart. Look at me.
For sure.
Yeah. But I don't know. I went through elementary like that, and I didn't really know what I was gonna do. But I had like this love, like for the shit that we did. You know, like we had the portrait of like Bush in the principal's office.
Oh, that's so cool.
We did assembly days. So assembly day is basically like after breakfast in the morning, you go to the gymnasium, you do the national anthem, you go over the news, what's the bad, the good, the neutral, whatever. Then you go to class, and then I don't know, you feel like you have like a purpose. Like you and your classmates, like I don't care if Ruben's like stupid and he's gonna have like a 2.0 GPA, like he's my guy. And then this guy might be smarter than me, but he's my guy too. And we're gonna like, I don't know, excel in this fucking class just so we can like do something to make that news better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we always had like, I always had like that type of shit driving me. But then like in middle school, like it, you know, when you get to
it all kind of changes.
When you get to puberty, it changes because you're thinking about fucking chicks and, you know, music and like, oh, this motherfucker wearing Hollister and I'm not wearing Hollister. He wearing Gap, I'm not wearing Gap. And you're worried about, you know, like like really personal shit.
But when you get to that point, you are confronted with insecurities that you didn't even know you had before. And like, it's very hard when you are a broke kid and you're wearing like fucking Walmart jeans or even like used up clothes that your parents just bought off like a garage sale or something like that. And you start to see like, how come I'm not, you know, like, do my parents not care about me? You started putting value to the things that people have, and you feel you're worth less than that person.
And that's I talked about my boy Ralph from back in the early days, my first home, because we moved homes a lot, but that was my first home. My first like experience was from like the first place, the apartments, and I feel like that was his mentality, bro, because, you know, besides like financial struggles for the family, like I wouldn't say they're struggles. I would just say like, oh, we're just in the low tax bracket. That's it.
Right.
So, I mean, they were always like trying to get the best for me. Like we were always like doing little road trips. We were always going to like the aquarium in Corpus, going to New Orleans, even though I'm too young to remember. I was too young to remember that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that's what I tried to say with the experience. Like there's levels to this. Like there's people that how you describe it, and they're rocking like, you know, the Walmart cargo pants. And then there's people that their parents are like, damn, like this kind of pricey, but we're going to do it anyways, just so like we can take care of you and shit. And I feel like that's part of it. I feel like that's part of like what makes you like excel more in certain things than other people. Cause like some people, they just like, you know, like I'm pretty sure Ralph in school, like, I don't know. I can't read his mind. Right. But I hope he's doing good out there. Shout out Ralph. Yeah. But I feel like maybe in school, like low key, subconsciously, like that was probably seeped into like his head. Like, you know, I got less, so I can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? Like
he already thought he had limits on himself.
Yeah.
More than others. And I think sometimes
whereas me, I mean, sorry to interrupt you again, bro, but I mean, whereas me, like I see my parents like going like out of their way to like, you know, get things done.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes me think subconsciously like, damn, like I'll take a challenge. I'll fucking do it. Like,
yeah.
I don't care.
You were encouraged to and to have a self-esteem.
Yeah, because I see them beating the fucking challenges and getting the gold medal. I'm like, dude, man, I can beat y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My last guest, he was kind of like that too, right? Where he was told you can't do that. Like, watch me, I'm gonna freaking do it.
That's always how I've been thinking, bro. Because like I remember in third grade, I had another experience, bro. Because third grade is like where it gets kind of hard because you start taking the state test, the tax test.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it was called back in your day.
The TOX, and then it became the TAS. No, it was the TAS and then TOX.
Yeah, I started off with the TAX, and like I remember one time I got my first bad grade in fucking school. It wasn't even that bad. It was like a fucking B, like an 81 or 82.
Yeah.
Damn, my mom was pissed, bro.
What the fuck, dude?
She was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what are you bringing into my house?" And I'm like, it was a pretty hard test, mom. Like phonics, you know, grammar and shit like that. That's pretty hard. I studied, but you know, that's the best I could do.
Yeah.
And she got pretty mad at me, but I ended up getting like a fucking nearly perfect score on the TAX, bro. So wow. I mean, and I think that's just part of it, because she was just telling me like, oh, like she was making me feel like I was dumb, and I was like, what are you talking about, bro? Like I'm me. Like I'm better than these fucking people next to me. These people got 79, 78.
Right.
Like I'm gonna beat them.
Damn, dude.
And it's all good. If you don't believe in me, I don't need nobody to believe in me. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go get it.
You believe in yourself. That's the most important part.
Well, I believe that I'm just gonna beat the rest of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what do you want in life? Like, what do you think is the purpose to you?
To just keep improving.
Keep improving.
In
Yeah. What drives
aspect,
you?
you know, like, you know, I mentioned on the first bit of the podcast, I mentioned like a lot of information, almost like too much in some ways, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like part of improving in life is like gaining more information and looking
at the facts.
Yeah, and learning more about how to use them, how to create solutions instead of just, you know, being angry at everything all the time.
And it's important to know where your emotions lie so that you can make better decisions for yourself and know how to control those so that they don't control you.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Can you imagine if we would be in positions where we would just drive each other by emotions? That's crazy dangerous because a child wants things, right? And an adult kind of puts those boundaries and limits so that when they get older, they go ahead and know that it's okay to want things for the right purposes and the right reasons.
Yeah, straight up. I feel like
you can't always be happy. You can't always be sad. You have to essentially find balance, enjoy the peaks and embrace the valleys.
Yeah, there's certain things that I've always considered goals. Number one is always like not have to worry about money.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's a big one.
Like meaning not necessarily be rich as fuck. Like I know I can do that if I sell out, right? You know, I can probably do that. But I mean, have enough money to the point where like I'm not worried like if I spend like a lot of money today that I won't have enough tomorrow, you know?
Right.
Where you know you're always gonna have enough for the bills, and then the rest of it is just like, oh, let's have
a little extra.
Yeah, everything else is lower. 70% of it is like extra, and then 30% of it is like for the real shit.
That's a good goal, man.
Yeah,
it's
not really about how rich you are. It's about like how happy you are with what you have.
Yeah, it's about what you do with that money. Because at the end of the day, money is just paper.
Yeah,
and I definitely been through that experience where I went out and try to be the entrepreneur type of person and try to get into like multi-level marketing, which is a fucking scam. Yeah, big time scam, right?
Man, you know, and you got into it when it was like in its infancy. Mm-hmm. What I'm seeing right now, you know, you're I mean, obviously every generation has like its big, you know.
Are you talking about OnlyFans right now?
Dude, not just OnlyFans is a relatively new thing, but I'm talking about like Primerica, all the insurance motherfuckers, all the Herbalife. Dude, my Facebook timeline, man, aside from like you and my friends, everybody's fucking trying to sell me Herbalife or insurance for my car, you know, making money. Like all their money is all commissions, bro. Mm-hmm. But you know, they're probably making like very little. They're probably making like
they only 30, make like little cents compared to 20, the people at the top that are making all the cash.
They're taking all the money. They're probably making like 20, 30 G's, and you know they get like a fucking company car, like a Tesla Model X, and you know they're out there showing like, oh, we're hiring, or oh, we can like get you lower rates in your car, and they're they're portraying like this image.
Yeah, you can be like this too if you work hard, right? And if you get your 3 friends,
and this girl's wearing like a Versace blouse, and dude, I'm like, that blouse is like 10% of your fucking annual income. Like, what are you doing? And I'm just thinking like that's not what I want, bro. When I mean financial stability, I mean like I want enough to like not have to worry. I don't want to be like presenting an image of myself.
Yeah, I definitely felt like if I were to pursue this, I was a complete fraud. Like I just didn't feel good inside. Like I'm more of I don't want to be chasing after the money, right? I want money and success to follow along with my passions.
Yeah, you want the money to keep doing the podcast and have conversations, which is what you love, bro.
That's what I find myself as a 27-year-old. Like the conversations that I have with people are like the best, and they're almost like this fuel of passion that I have inside for wanting to get to know people for who they really are. And I thank goodness that I'm in a position where I'm able to do this finally after years, because a lot of people, maybe what they enjoy most about their job is talking to their friends and family, or they tolerate it thanks to those people that are around them, right?
That's why a lot of people tolerate retail, because they just love the people that are around.
Yeah.
It's just that they're in a fucking $8 an hour ass job.
Yeah. And a lot of people settle for a little bit of of money for shitty things that they have to do, right?
That's the Wall Street people we were talking about. They do fucked up shit every single day, but to them it's just like
it's just life.
They don't think they're doing bad. Maybe at first they do.
Nobody, But
then you said it on the first podcast. Nobody thinks they're doing bad at all. Like Hitler didn't think he was doing bad shit. He thought he was doing us a service. Yeah. But I mean, these Wall Street guys, they do crazy shit.
And then everybody else was like, "You better follow along, or else, you're never seen or heard of ever again."
So like, I mean, before you were talking about like your party phase before we started the podcast, and for these Wall Street guys, it's the same way, just on a different financial level. Like they're at the top, but they feel the same way, and I feel like that's part of the reason why they're always like coked out. And doing crazy shit because they
need the energy to keep going,
keep doing it. Because I mean, that movie has a lot of
there's a truth.
The Wolf of Wall Street. There's a truth to that movie. Like it is fucking boring. Like I take fucking microeconomic theory and markets and institutions, and it is fucking boring if you're an average human being. Most of us are average human beings. I know I am. That's why I get bored thinking about it. Nobody who works on Wall Street thinks their job is the best, bro. Those people on Wall Street are probably trading while they're listening to the Joe Rogan Experience.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do at work. I listen to the podcast because I'm sick of fucking typing numbers all day.
Yeah, you won't definitely need these crazy little distractions that keep you from going crazy.
Absolutely.
Because you can't be all work and no play. Like it's got to be great things that you do, man.
And that's part of the balance, That's what this podcast is all about, balance. And you just said it right there, work and play. That's the big goal.
Yeah,
that's a better way to work.
And thanks to do this, I'm able to do both at the same time, man. This is great for me.
Fucking amazing, bro. I love this shit. The gray space, it's the shit.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you and making that drive all the way over here from Brownsville.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate minds like yours, man. I'm glad that you actually came through as a guest, because initially I was just concerned that people were not gonna dig the idea, right? I know, dude, right?
This is the easiest idea to market. This is a better business thing that you're promoting than whatever the fuck you were doing back in the day. Whatever it is. I don't want to know what it was. I don't know if it's insurance or Herbalife or whatever, but this is fucking better.
It was actually trading, believe it or not.
Really?
Like I learned how to trade, but it was like an insane amount of money that I had to pay in order to learn how to trade, and I wasn't even making like.
Don't tell me you bought one of those fucking courses on the ads, bro.
No, I was like somebody that was like trying to become those people that were on the ads, right? It was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I remember in 2016, around election time, there was this fucking. This is before I had like a YouTube account. I was just watching YouTube as a guest, right? When you're not logged on with your Gmail, you're just watching YouTube.
Yeah.
And I would always get these ads about this fucking guy in front of like a mansion that he borrowed from somebody, and he has got like fucking Lambos.
Oh, I fucking know that guy.
You know the guy, right?
I know. Fuck, what's his name?
This guy was everywhere on YouTube. Every video, I would be watching a video about biology. This fucking guy was in the advertisement, bro.
Who the fuck is that? Jesus.
Dude, I don't know. Look, if some fucking viewer can tell us the name of this guy, like I'm pretty sure like somebody in your audience knows his fucking name.
I know it. I used to watch these guys, but I can't fucking remember the name of that guy. Look in your
eye, bro. You know exactly who I'm talking about. But this fucking guy was everywhere, bro. And I me, oh shit, my bad. But me coming from where I come from, I knew this guy was full of shit, bro. Because people with that kind of power and money, they're not out there flaunting, bro. They're just out there like enjoying life and shit. He was just about marketing, multi-level marketing. He was showing you how to like make your own business and shit. The typical fucking stereotype.
Yeah.
He was probably the OG of it, to be honest, because before him, I didn't really see much of it. But it's like he was convincing people to fucking pay for an online course on YouTube about how to market your business and how to get a Lambo and shit. He was doing like little visits to exotic car dealerships and shit.
No, man, like he had this fucking thing like you can be like this rich too.
And his fucking cars are rentals, bro. Like he's been exposed.
Wait up. Let me see if
he's still Google searching, y'all. This shit's crazy. We're about to expose this motherfucker.
Yeah, not gonna. I'll remember later. Fuck.
We'll expose him later. He'll expose him on another podcast. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It was. I know the guy.
Because people like him. Oh my goodness.
He was an absolutely crazy maniac. Like,
dude.
But people like somehow respected the guy. He was like, I don't know what he does, or because he sells you the dream, but he
That's exactly what he's doing. He's selling, bro.
He sells you the dream, and you just fall for it because it's like, wow.
Yes, we're the idiots that buy the fucking chorus and pay for him to rent the Lambos and shit.
Yeah. Like, no, he's not really rich.
No, we're talking about this fucking guy on the YouTube ads, and we're talking about experiences and shit.
Yeah, so I kind of got roped into that kind of feeling, like, wow, like I'm fucking worthless. If I just get an amount of money and I can be happy and I can do all these things, like he sells you that shit. And so like I kind of I was like, I don't like what this guy's selling. I'm gonna go to this other guy that was trying to be like that, right?
Yeah.
So. Like he would post shit like on his outside house or whatever, like some rich shit.
Dude, it's a fucking rented house. It's an Airbnb, bro.
Yeah.
No bullshit. But I have an experience, and this is way later in my life. This is in high school, and by this time in my life, I already understand class. Okay, and there's a guy that helped me understand class more, and it was fucking Bernie. He's the one that really like put things into perspective, and when he speaks. He's just speaking from the heart, right? He's not really dropping like numbers, none of that stuff. But he's what got me going. He kind of jump started like, my search for information. Like, why is society organized the way it is? Why are some people in the low tax bracket? Why are some people in the high tax bracket?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you actually got to yearn for like this type of knowledge that led you to like not only discover one side of things, right? Like it was just kind of, it sparked your interest, and you were able to see from also the Republican standpoint of view.
Because I mean, at one point, we've been talking about parties for a while, and that's okay because they're fucking like the way they operate and their history is kind of representative. It's
very
of like
shady.
Us. It's very shady, but it's very representative of how we are as people. And the Republicans at one point, they aren't like how they are today. Like. Most people probably don't know this, but the only reason that like we don't have segregation no more is because like they were like LBJ fucking coerced them into like signing the Civil Rights Act,
right? And
he needed the Republicans to go through with it. So I mean, the Republicans aren't as crazy as you may think.
Yeah,
but I mean,
one thing that I've learned though is I look back at older history, and like the Democrat Party was actually the people of the Confederacy, right? And the Union was Republican. Abraham
Absolutely.
Lincoln was a Republican. Frederick Douglass, actually, the whole slavery movement was not really truly about slavery. It was about weaning off the Confederacy states from this level of wealth that they were doing, and like the way to exploit them was by taking away the slavery. And it just kind of felt like it was like whatever got the job done, whatever pushed them, do it for the better. But then as soon as slavery was abolished, the Confederacy and what used to be the Confederacy and Democrats, they started putting all out these policies that discouraged African Americans to vote.
Yeah, after Reconstruction, they basically shut it down again.
Yeah,
and they made it like de facto slavery, essentially.
Yeah, and I know President Lincoln tried so hard to like not be the person that's like cheering like, "Ha, you lost, losers," and that's what I love about him as a person, that he just was humble enough to want to reach out to the other side and make this nation whole again. And man, that's the dream, bro. Like I just want people to get along.
Yeah.
Like learn from each other, man.
Those people are very rare. People like Lincoln who are willing to like expand their knowledge and their mind, their way of thinking, in order to like find a solution to like the issue at hand. And FDR, like I read a book, a biography about him. It's a fucking good biography. It's called FDR, A Traitor to His Class. And essentially it's just, his life. So you start off with his childhood, you start off with his education, and you end where he passes away in 1945. And then there's an epilogue where you find out like how his fucking persona still lives on. And FDR, like what you have to understand about this guy is that New York State back in the 100 years ago, it wasn't fucking Brooklyn, like Queens, Cardi B, none of that shit. It was like New York State was for like descendants of like rich English people, British people. And FDR's family was one of those, Roosevelt.
That old money.
Absolutely. And he was one of those Democrats that you're talking about. He was although he was from the North, so he didn't really believe in slavery and segregation and shit. He just thought of it like as a way like, okay, we'll keep the segregationists like there, in order to like unite the fucking party and get the New Deal done.
Yeah.
Because we need their fucking votes. We don't want to scare them away.
Yeah, it's like we all need each other, right?
Yeah, and you know, the book is called Traitor to His Class because FDR was fucking wealthy. His parents had money for days.
Oh, that's what I.
He had money for
Wow.
days, but he understood that in the midst of the Great Depression,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what happens when there's an economic downturn so savage like that, because that was a bad recession.
Yeah.
That was 25% unemployment. Imagine 1 out of every 4 people in the fucking country doesn't have a job.
Yeah, I mean
They can't
that's
feed the
kind
fam.
of what happened with COVID, right? Everything fucking had to shut down for a while.
Fucking crazy. But imagine this in like an earlier time period where
Yeah.
we have less things to enjoy. We can't watch Tiger Kings.
Yeah,
You know what
for
I'm
sure.
saying? So I mean, he thought about it in a fucking beautiful way. You know, the USSR was like a new country at that time, and communism was fucking successful like in the Depression because like, you know, everybody had fucking food in their mouths. Well, it was shit food, but they still had food. And FDR understood that like, you know, I'm fucking rich. I hang out with elites. I fucked with Wall Street before. But he understood that people are gonna turn to fascism and communism if you don't fucking feed them. If we don't do Social Security, if we don't do the New Deal, if we don't do the public works programs, if we don't take the fight to the Germans and shit,
Yeah.
our people, America, it's gonna happen here.
Yeah, that's true, man.
And you know, he had to betray a lot of his principles because he's a very privileged guy.
Yeah.
So he has to give up. He has to tax himself more, his people more. He has to tell like his friends like, hey, I'm sorry, you guys are gonna have to pay more to fucking Uncle Sam. But would you rather have that, or would you rather have fucking communism?
Yeah, where they will actually take everything
Where they
from
take
you.
everything from you. Because I mean, there's a good quote by an economist. He says like, the Hamptons are not a good defensive position because it's a low-lying beach on the island. So when the pitchforks come, they're gonna fuck you guys up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, I had no knowledge of FDR, and thank you so much for coming on here and expanding my mind, bro. That's great.
Yeah, FDR is like my favorite because that biography, like, it's very hard to make those biographies about like those old school guys like Lincoln and FDR because like there wasn't a lot of people
Social
like,
media or
Yeah.
people trying to cancel them. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, look what he said a long time
and,
ago.
You know, it was very difficult to access those type of people, but this guy wrote a biography in a way where you really see like a lot of character development to the point where it almost seems fictional, but then you realize like, no, he really did this.
Oh,
He
shit.
really built the New Deal. He really, because like modern America really started with this fucking guy.
Hey man, that's amazing that he was able to he was able to. Well, it's amazing that he was able to go ahead and go against his principles of what he actually believed in to better the country or whatever he was raised in, whatever environment he was raised in. He had to go against that so that he had to put the country before himself. And maybe that's the type of person that we should elect in the future. Yeah. And that's why it's important to talk to each other and hear each other out instead of always trying to be right and trying to get those likes and get the last word online, right?
Yeah. You can't really do that anyway. It's just always somebody that's gonna come after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're gonna block you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
I mean, after hearing that, you kind of get to, you know, the modern day and you get with Trump. And, you know, I feel like, I mean, some people didn't give him a chance, right? Because, you know, this is not 1932. Like, you don't get a chance. Like, so there's some people that automatically hate you. Some people automatically love you. That's just how it is. But I gave this guy a chance, bro. I heard something different that I wasn't hearing from the other guys.
Yeah.
I was hearing about trade. I was hearing about inequality. I was hearing about healthcare. And I was like, this guy sounds different from Bush. He sounds different from Obama. He might actually, like, if he doesn't get it done, maybe he'll at least drive the conversation forward.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had really high hopes for him, you know, and it's just a shame because he wasted, like, in his first year, 2017, he wasted nearly all of his political, I mean, you have to understand, right? He was in the White House. He won the election, although by a narrow margin, right? And he had the Senate and the House at his disposal. He had, you know, if there is a fucking political capital bar or a number, he had the maximum amount of points. He could have used it to do anything he wanted. And he could have just rolled over the Democrats because they wouldn't be able to stop him.
But okay.
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, go for it.
But in 2017, he used up like half of his political points to get tax cuts done. for wealthy people. And this is part of what we talked about in the first part of the podcast, that he has too many people from the establishment that are in his shit. And, they're in his ear. Steve Mnuchin, Gary Cohn, he's fucking former CEO of Goldman Sachs. But he's the only guy he could find that would work with him.
Yeah.
And, he's in his ear. Let me tell you, I know I'm jumping a lot here, but there's this other book called Fear by Bob Woodward. And I read it, and it's about the first two years of the Trump administration.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this amazing scene that just shows you like how sick the establishment is. So in 2017, 2018, after the tax cuts get done, they pass Congress, they're executed, that's it. He wasted half of his political points. Now he's going to do executive orders. He's going to do tariffs. He's going to work on trade.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary Cohn is still in the administration now. Gary Cohn's a Wall Street boy. He's from Goldman Sachs. And, he's the only guy that Trump could find that would work for him from Wall Street.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, right? How is it hard for a Republican to find a Wall Street guy to work with him?
Yeah.
And,
it's like, hey, they know the system inside and out. Come on, betray your people and come out.
And there's this fucking amazing scene because Trump, he's a very forgetful guy in this book. That's something that the author points out, many times that, 1 week he'll be talking about a certain subject all week. Next week, new subject, and he forgets what happened last week.
I feel like it's the media that's driving the conversation, right? Like they keep asking these questions like, why haven't you done this about that? And so like he has to like kind of cater to that so that they're always pointing out the flaws and criticism. So he has to like work hard at every step and try to please the media so that it's almost detrimental at this point versus in the Obama administration, it just became more about like, you're doing great, Mr. President, keep doing it. It's like, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what ended up happening in this, I believe it was around late 17, early 18.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump's going to do something big. He's going to try to reform the trade deal that we have with South Korea.
Yeah.
Because South Korea builds a lot of our cell phones, a lot of our television sets, a lot of our routers, a lot of our vehicles. I pulled up in a Korean car.
Yeah.
Right. So he wants more, stuff built here to reform that. So he's going to do,
and we protect them from North Korea.
So what he's going to do,
and the world.
Absolutely. And what he's going to do is he's going to put a, he's going to put an executive order down that pauses the free trade agreement that we have with the Koreans. Okay. And basically that would signal the end of free trade with South Korea. That way we can, enter a new conversation and hopefully we get something done. So we enter negotiations and then we can work out a new trade deal that favors our markets and our businesses. Which isn't a bad thing.
Like, it's not a bad thing at all.
It's not a bad thing at all. Like I'm perfectly fine if like some more aluminum bolts for my car built in America rather than South Korea. At least somebody in America has another job.
Yeah.
And it's not being.
That's what we have to look out for. People here in this country. Like we have a country, right? It's either we cater to other countries or we take care of our own people.
And let me tell you what Gary Cohn said in this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Cohn, this is our Wall Street boy, remember?
Yeah.
He says, Mr. President, he said, and this is in the book, this is Bob Woodward saying it, not me. I'm just rephrasing it the best way that I can from my memory. Gary Cohn says, Mr. President, the reason that television sets for Americans are so cheap and it costs $200 to get a good TV is because of free trade with South Korea. And Trump says, like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to go through with it tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
So Gary Cohn, early in the morning, he takes the executive order off his fucking desk. Trump forgets about it.
Damn.
Next Monday morning, Trump forgets about it. He's like, where the fuck did it go?
Yeah.
He totally forgot about it. This is how much Gary Cohn, Wall Street, the establishment hates this guy's thinking.
Shit, bro. That blows my mind. It's like, why
he was gonna get something, and I didn't have a problem with it. Like the free trade's a good debate because you could be right on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a free trader, you have a lot of good arguments.
Yeah.
If you're a protectionist like I am, you also have a lot of good arguments, and you also have open fences.
And that's where we really have to.
But this guy didn't even want to hear the argument.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Dude, like, do something for the better of the people. I believe it just comes down to people taking morality into their own hands, right? Like, this, I'm gonna stop this crazy man. Like, they labeled him as such a crazy madman that it just they go out and they do crazy things, trying to pretend like it's almost like a crazy person running a mental health institution, right?
That's exactly it. That's how the Democrats see this guy.
Mm-hmm.
To them, you know, his manner of speaking and the way he goes about his business, you know, we might not like it, but to them, they think of it as like they're trying to use it as a metaphor. You know, what the Democrats and the establishment, you know, both Dems and Republicans, the establishment, right, the rich ones, the Wall Street boys, what they really have a problem with is Trump's hatred of free trade, what he's trying to do for the people.
Oh shit!
And how he's trying to protect a good trade policy for us hurts them because they have less shit made in China and they have to pay more to build it here.
Yeah.
So what, you know, like to them, although they don't come out and say it, because then we find out what it's all about and they start talking like me. So they use like, you know, his mannerisms and his way of doing business. To them, that's like, oh, like he's not one of us.
Yeah.
Like he's rich, but he's not one of us. He's for them. He's with that team. He's not on our team.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, you know, like why, you know, you were mind blown when I mentioned that WikiLeaks shit about Citigroup. But I mean, that's kind of why they hate him, the media, everybody, because he's not in on it.
Yeah.
Because he has his own money. He doesn't owe shit to anybody.
Yeah, he's not.
And you know, like I'm sounding like I'm defending him, right? And in a way, I kind of am, because there are some things you should defend him for. But even though I'm not a fan of his. Like people always, that's why I canceled Twitter, bro. Yeah. Because I was like, oh yeah, I love what he's doing with trade. He's a good guy. We're gonna miss this when he's gone. Yeah. And people came out and they're like, too bad. You're bad. You're bad too. Yeah. He said something about Mexicans. Therefore, you're bad.
Yeah, I didn't even. If you listen to my second episode on your way home, then you'll hear my opinion on that. But yeah, I always felt like Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump were kind of in a similar way, in the sense that they didn't bow to people's money. You're laughing.
I'm laughing, bro. It's because, I mean, before the podcast started, I was just vibing with you talking in your kitchen, bro. And I said, you know, I compared, you know, the Democrats, how would you say it? They anointed Joe Biden as like the de facto leader of the party. Right. And I compared it to, you know, Killmonger and Black Panther saying, is that your king? Is that all y'all can do? Yeah. I compared it to that. And, you know, you just mentioned Bernie just now and how similar he is to Donald. And I think, dude, if it was Bernie and not this fucking dude, the route to victory would be so much easier. He can, because Donald Trump's trade arguments, the good parts of Donald Trump, I mean, to me at least, right? To many people, they don't land as hard anymore. You can't outdo Biden in that situation no more, because it's not Biden.
I don't know which direction they want us to go forward with a Biden-Harris administration, in the sense that we don't, like, this is the reason, the Obama administration is the reason the Trump administration was the rise of. And to go back to that, we would be going backwards and not actually getting anything done.
Exactly. And you know, this is...
But is that what they want, though? Just for everything to regress?
Listen, this is part of, you know, why they hate free speech so much. The establishment, I mean. Because they understood that, you know, free speech and a below par administration, the Obama administration, is what led to fucking Donald Trump. So they know their fucking administration is going to be below par. They know they're not going to do nothing for working people. So the goal is, let's try to cancel the other side, because there's no other way we can do it.
Yeah, they don't have us like a hero, right? They don't
the best way to cancel the other side is to just do good for the people.
Or let the other side just speak and do whatever they want, so that you can counter those things.
That's really how I see, you know, trying to govern society. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're trying to, you know, I always love that I think y'all mentioned this. Y'all called it the American experiment, no?
Something like that.
But I mean, that's basically what we are. We're a fucking science experiment. We're trying to perfect, you know, something that we built 300 years ago. And
it's still a big work in progress, man.
Still a big work in progress. Exactly. It's always been that way. And, you know, the thing is that we have to, you know, I don't think right or left really fucking matters. I think what's important is that, you know, every generation has their own issues, and you have to fucking build solutions to them. You know, and sometimes it's not going to be the fucking people that you agree with that make the solutions, right?
There's the people that you disagree with that help make those.
Sometimes it's the people you disagree with. Exactly. There's a lot of, you know, I mentioned FDR. There's a lot of conservatives in the 1930s. But you guess what? They didn't have a job. They were struggling to feed the family. They were in the fucking Dust Bowl. And this elite New Yorker liberal is out there doing a public works program and creating Social Security. He's looking out for you. You might not like him, but he's your guy. He built a fucking solution to your problem.
Yeah.
When the fucking Germans or the Japanese hit Pearl Harbor, he took the fight to them. He's finding solutions to the problem. He didn't know what he was doing. Nobody knows what they're doing in a war. You just have to fucking tough it out.
Yeah, you have to fight. You have somebody you fight against.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, really, because I mean, it changes every generation. So like in the 70s, we were talking about the 70s, right? Like the hippies, Vietnam, the chaos, the shitty economy. I don't agree with Reagan that much. I'm not a conservative, but we needed him at that time because we didn't know who the fuck we were anymore. We weren't winning wars. We were losing our influence in the world. Like, we weren't prosperous anymore. We had fucking inflation. And, Reagan helped us, recover like that 50s, Norman Rockwell type America. Like, guys, like, we're dynamic. We're always hopeful. Like, we're
shining city on the hill, right?
The city on the hill. Like, next year's going to be better than this year. The year after that will be better than that year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, I felt like maybe Trump is like what we needed in 2016, because maybe that drives the conversation forward, because for a long time the left was so stagnant.
Yeah.
It was just about identity and gay rights and, black rights, even though they've already achieved like most of those rights. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
For real.
And, you guys forgot about the Democrats are a good party. Like, they always looked out for working people for generations.
Right. The social programs and all that stuff.
Yeah. And then in the 70s, they actively decided, like, guys, we don't want those voters. They're pro-Vietnam.
Yeah.
We don't want those voters. They're farmers. They're industrial workers. Industry is gonna go to China. Industry's gonna go to Mexico.
They're pro free market because now they have money.
Yeah, they're pro. Exactly. That's the best point. That's an amazing point. Best point made throughout the entire podcast. They turn into free marketeers when it suited them.
Yeah, but when you're like struggling, you depend on socialism. That is amazing, man. That is amazing.
Let me tell you another story. This is from this guy, Ralph Nader. He was a lawyer. He's a very old guy. I think he was born in the 30s. But basically, the reason that we have seatbelts and airbags and all this safety equipment in our vehicles is because of this guy. Right. Because he wrote a book called Unsafe at Any Speed. And, back in the 50s, 60s, cars were fucking crazy, bro. Like, if you crashed, you were fucking dead.
No safety features at all.
The fucking steering wheel was made of wood or metal. It's like, if you hit your head on it, you were probably fucking dead.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And he exposed this. And he also exposed, like, fucking cars with, like, gas tanks that would explode whenever somebody would hit you. Like, all this crazy shit that Ford and GM was doing. And Ralph Nader, he talks about, like, how he would lobby Democrats and Republicans at Congress, and they would listen to him because at this point in time, they weren't taking corporate American money. They were just getting donations from like their voters, their fans, etc. And they would have to listen to people like Ralph Nader, activists, environmentalists, etc. Anybody that had like a position of some sort. Like, if you wanted to like be pro free speech and you went to Congress, they would listen to you because like, oh, this guy could give us money with his podcast, whatever. You would donate. And then somewhere along the line, Nixon, Carter, those administrations come and go. But the Supreme Court, they pretty much legalized corporate donations. So what they did is, first, they defined a corporation as a human being, an individual.
Oh, shit.
So now we get into the nitty gritty. And, the main idea that I have is, how the fuck is Apple Incorporated a human being just like me or you?
That is a big question, man. And it's an organization.
And in 1977, we have another Supreme Court case, and this one basically opens the floodgates. So this allows unlimited This is what the
super PAC.
The super PACs are invented, basically. Well, not the original PACs, the OG PACs.
Yeah,
you can call them that. So now when Ralph Nader is talking to Congress, they don't let him in, because they're getting their money from IBM. They're getting their money from General Motors, from Raytheon. And these are the Republicans. The Republicans, they close the door because they're like, we've always been the party of the rich, but I mean, we had to talk to you guys for a little bit, but now we can just close the doors.
Yeah.
And then the Democrats, 1979, Tony Coelho, he's a senator or representative from like some state. I don't know which one, but he's like the big boy in the House, the biggest fundraiser. And he's like, guys, the Republicans are fucking outraising us like crazy. You know what we should do? We should go to Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
We should go to Wall Street. We should go to Goldman
That's
Sachs.
where the money's at.
And he outraises the Republic. Like Reagan won the election in 1980, but the Democrats raised more money for their guy.
Yeah. I saw that in 2016. Like Hillary Clinton spent more.
Fuck out of Donald Trump.
Yeah. He wasn't taking anybody's donations at first, dude.
Dude, he has a lot. Like, he got money. He's got 7-10 billion net worth. But Hillary raised a whole fucking billion just from like 10 people, bro.
Yeah, dude.
And she still lost.
Yeah, that's the crazy part, bro.
I know a lot of conservatives have like this view like, oh, pragmatism always wins, like we have to sell out to the donors because that's the only way to win, the rich people, the rich opinion is always correct because they're the sophisticates. They're the ones that go to Harvard and Yale and Princeton.
Yeah, they're the ones that put food and money on the table.
Yeah, like they know how everything works. The worker doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's really why like Bill Clinton and Obama, Hillary, Joe Biden, they all think the same way because they all came of age, in the 70s where like the Democrats did this. They literally changed like their whole identity. Like we're not gonna be about FDR, we're not gonna be about LBJ, we're gonna be the sophisticated party. We're gonna be the suburban party, the party of people who are well off, who drive foreign cars and shit.
Wow,
and that's basically like the story. Tony Coelho, like how he changed the DNC, everything.
Wow, there's a whole conversation.
It's not an accident. I see so many criticisms.
No, everything is like planned for at least the Democrat Party. Like I can't get them to see like you're not doing this for the working class. I think the working class should always be the standard, the gold standard for everybody, for each party. Like those are the voters you want, and for them to forget about us and try to get to the people who are like just LGBT or the black community, like you're taking those votes for granted and you're not really trying to help them. If anything, it hurts them because you get them to depend on you.
Yeah.
Like that government tit is not good,
Yeah.
And thanks for being part of my podcast, man, and being part of the experience.
Crazy experience, bro. I love this great space, bro. It's amazing.
Thank you. It's just refreshing to finally hear somebody out that has arguments on both sides and is able to make up his own political opinion, and it enhances mine, and it definitely points out flaws in my personal views and that I could work on. But that's why you need to be able to hear each other out and just contribute to the conversation and not just block each other out, so that we can just absolutely be better as a society, so that we can leave an imprint and a way to conduct business for us, the working class, and for everybody that should be beholden to us instead of trying to cater to the rich so that they can feed us.
Absolutely, bro. Couldn't have said it better. Gotta hit the road though.
Thanks, man. Bye.